Awesome. Well, Amanda, thank you so much again for being here. We've had a lot of ladies asking about self-directed IRAs, how they can set up their own, make their own retirement fund self-directed, help people in their life set them up so they might then invest in real estate. And so we're excited to learn more from you. And for those of you who are not familiar with Amanda yet, I saw you speak to April Crossley's group and I loved what you shared. And I do have a self-directed account and I still learned a ton from your presentation. So I'm excited to get your brilliance this evening. So Amanda is a certified self-directed IRA professional and key account manager with Specialized Trust Company. She has been a driving force in the world of self-directed IRAs for over 13 years now, and has also spent 5 years in the turnkey real estate world. So this combination gives her a pretty unique industry perspective that she applies in her work, empowering her clients to use self-directed accounts to invest, scale their businesses, save on taxes, and of course, control their own financial futures. So she really has the ability to connect and simplify the self-directed concept so that anybody can apply it in their lives, and even her kids self-direct, which is awesome. I want to hear more about that for sure. So thank you again so much for being with us this evening, and I will hand it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. I much appreciated. Let me get my screen shared here and that flattering introduction. Yes. So I also I demand a participation today. So if you have questions, ask them, because if you have a question, somebody else in the group has a question. We're all here to learn from each other. I'm going to give you the high level, the nitty gritty, and some action its that you could apply within 30 days and get results. So that's the goal today. Right. So last time I did this one last night and it took forever to share my screen. So that's why I want to be a little proactive today.
No worries. Take your time. I love 30-day results. Like we're all about 30-day results over here.
If only my waistline would comply with that timeline.
I know,
right? Get on board. Get on board.
What happened to that summer swimsuit body I was going for? I don't know, but it never.
Fantastic. Okay. Sorry. I'm not muted. So all of my notifications are coming through. All right. So, your money, your future, your way. Everybody can see this? Yes and yes. All right, perfect. I have my chat window open and I also have like a spaceship of screens here. So if you see me looking off into space, just know I'm trying to monitor the chat and, multitask, which I'm not always successful at. So, all right. And thank you, Mariel. Like I'm highly grateful for you putting together this great group. I love female collaboration. Can I just say that? I just love it, love it, love it. I'm always, for a number of years, I've always been in the financial world. I'm always the girl in the room, and it's like, come on, guys. The boys club is just not as fun as girls club. Let's just be honest. Okay. All right. So let's get started. I always have to start with this fun disclosure, legal. You ready? Specialized Trust Company is passive custodian. We don't recommend endorse any specific investor, sponsor. We're not attorneys, we're not CPAs, we don't offer tax advice, legal advice. We don't recommend endorse any specific investor or sponsors. We are passive custodians for educational purposes and info payment purposes only. All right, now that we've got that going, we can get on to it.
Well done. That's a talent in itself right there.
So again, my name is Amanda Holbrook. I've been in the industry a long time. Our company is Specialized Trust Company. We help unlock funds, pay less taxes, tax-free profits. I personally, like, one of the big things that our team is able to do, and myself included, is we all drink our own Kool-Aid. Right. I think that's a fair statement of all of us around the room. And we were just talking about some of those events and that can be, rush to the back of the room, first person here gets blah, 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 blah. That's not how we operate. That's not this, this is actionable pieces that you can apply in real life. I have had 6 years of experience in the turnkey world. I know we were talking about the Memphis market earlier. I think it was Melissa, right? And I may be mistaken. But yeah, so let's keep it going. All right. So before we get to the meat and potatoes, gals, you need to know, especially in business, investing, anything, what forces are working against you. What are the issues? Okay. Before I can get to the positive stuff, the solutions. So we're going to identify those. The same three things that are working against me are working against you. And those are uncertainty, unpredictability, expensive loads and commissions, and taxes. Okay. So we're going to get through this real quick. Who has money in the stock market? Just give me some feedback in the chat. Hands. Okay. Yeah. How's it doing right now? I know I've been passing out a lot of tissues lately because what goes up must come
down, way down.
You know? And it's, I mean, we've all been in some sort of accountability group, I'm sure. And, you know, the accountability there is, guys, like, diversify, like that's the solution. You know, I can't tell you how often I'm hearing like, oh, I took X amount of hit in my account. Do I just buy, hold, hope, and wait? Like that's that fear mentality, right? And it's like, what happens if you wait and gamble? Right? If you wait and gamble, it can go down, right? Versus you rip the Band-Aid, you get it into even like private lending. You will be able to know to the day when you're back in the black, right? So which makes more sense? And at the end of the day, it's just math. So anyway, I'll get off of that. So expensive loads and commissions. Who the heck likes overpaying for stuff, right? No one. But what do you really pay for your retirement accounts? I mean, we've all had them, right? Jobs, 401ks, you know, Heidi, you're mentioning teachers, you know, I have 403Bs or PERS accounts or teacher retirement system for your state. No one really knows what they pay. For a $100,000 account, you're paying almost 7%. And that is a third-party statistic. Crazy, right? Like, but you don't ever see that. I think if more saw that and it was more upfront, we would question it more. But don't feel bad if I ask that question, you don't know the answer, because no one ever gives me one. You know, so I don't say that to add insult to injury, but just to make awareness, because when you're plugging in your deal analyzer, that affects your cash flow, right? It's the same thing. Like when you look at your closing costs, your holding costs, your borrowing costs, et cetera, it's the same thing with retirement accounts. It's a vehicle. Okay. And the last one, the tax man, your silent partner. You know how much he's got his hand in your pocket? If you're making 100K, how much are you giving away? Throw some numbers out there. What do you think? Over 40 grand, man. It's a lot. It's like, ugh, it's no fun. All right. So how would you like to keep more of that in your pocket? Right? You know, so you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So we're not going to do that though, because we're here on a, you know, what is today? I'm off on my days, Wednesday evening, to make sure that we've got a plan. Yeah, so here's what we're going to get to: self-directed IRAs and accounts. Okay. So before I get to some of the fun, like implemental strategies and like how to do this, I want to make sure that everyone's starting from the same starting line. Okay. So all of these accounts that you see on your screen right here, IRA, SEP, 401k, Roth, CISA, et cetera. Okay. These can all be self-directed. Okay. But when I say self-directed, I'm not talking about some of these bigger banks, because I hear this on a weekly basis. Oh, I logged into my account, Amanda. It says right here on the screen, it says self-directed. No, that means you pick your stocks, bonds, mutual funds yourself, and they'll still charge you for it. That's not self-directed. A self-directed platform allows you to invest in real estate, private placements, short-term rentals, notes, tax liens, subject tos, wholesaling, you name it. Okay, you can do everything you're doing in your business within the retirement account, because isn't it logical to invest in what you know? It's like, whoo, I know we have a couple of licensed agents on here, and I always love talking to my real estate agents, because it's like, well, where's your money? Yeah, in the stock market. Where's your license? In real estate. Oh, why isn't your money in real estate? You know, it's like, it's what you know, right? And it's like, oh, and it's because you don't know the vehicle is there. All right, so I'm gonna give you does everybody want like a screenshot, like takeaway? Okay, so we were talking a little bit in our breakout room anyway, we were talking about private money. Okay, and like, where do you find this money? So here is like a money shot bonus. So take a picture of this right here on your screen. These are all types of accounts that can be self-directed. Okay. So traditional Roth IRA, rollover IRAs, which means once upon a time it was a 401k. That's all that is. 403bs, 457s, a lot of firefighters and police officers, some pension plans, drop plans, PERS accounts, teacher retirement system accounts, solo K, individual Ks, SEP Simple, TSP is one. Anyone that has served our country, thank you. That is the government's version of the 401k. It's a thrift savings plan. All right. If they are no longer active at that employer, they can move that money. They have full control and autonomy, as do you. So keep this in mind. Health savings accounts is, I will say, the number one, I think, is underutilized. If you have a high deductible plan, you can have one of those for sure. You should. Absolutely. So keep this in mind, because depending on your business model, when you hear these, I want a sound effect to go off in your head, like cha-ching, cha-ching, because that means there's money that could be coming into your business, into your investment strategy. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about one of my favorite words in the English language, Roth. Okay. When I say Roth, whether it's 401k or IRA, I want you to always think, and you have to say this with me because it makes you smile, and who doesn't like to do that? It grows tax free. And you have to say it just like that. Tax free. Go ahead, try it. I'm watching you guys. Just try it. You can't say it without smiling, because who the heck likes paying taxes, right? Tax free. That is the goal, girls. We want to be tax free, given the option, right? And these options aren't that old. The IRA is 97, the 401k is 06. These aren't that old, and they are tax free forever. And I didn't deliver that right, but that's Sandlot quote. But that is the point. So when you're thinking for yourself, when you're thinking for your kids, when you hear the word Roth, just think tax free. So I do have a question on here before I get to this next one. How many on here are operating as either an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, as some type of entity?
Do you guys want to drop it in the chat? All right, we've got
drop it in the chat.
One LLC. I've got an LLC.
Okay, Catherine. LLC. No W2 employees.
That's a great question.
I'm gonna say majority I don't see having W2. It's 1099.
I think we've got 1, 2 W2.
W2 yourself, that's fine. If it's you or your spouse, that's okay. That doesn't count.
We've got a few ladies on the phone that,
yeah.
W2.
And if you have even a full-time 401, a full-time job with a 401k, what I'm about to tell you can be what I call your side hustle LLC 401k. All right. So let's get to it, because this is the triple threat of all accounts. Okay. This is called the Roth Solo 401k. And I know that's a mouthful. I don't make these words up. It's also called a QRP, an IndyK. There's so many semantics. It drives me insane. We literally test out on acronyms, you guys. The list is over 150. It's horrible. Okay. So if you're thinking of this is just the structure of a 401k plan. This, instead of participating in a company's where you only see the employee side of what you put in, and the beautiful, gracious match that they may give you on the employer side out of the kindness of their hearts, right? Because there's no tax advantage ever for the company that's giving you a 401k, right? Of course there is. That's why big companies do it, but now you're the boss. Okay, so what do we do as the boss babe? Because that's you right there in the middle. We have to dress her up a little bit, but this little stick figure here, that's you. So you have your company and that's you underneath, but you wear both hats. You're both the employer and the employee. So tell me, girls, as an employer, do you want to pay less taxes or less taxes? Do you want more write-offs or more write-offs? Right? Ooh,
all the write-offs.
I'm going to touch on that Roth question there in the chat in just a second. So tax deferred, okay, is this bucket. The employer bucket is tax deferred, meaning any money you put into this bucket, and you guys, it's not a professional financial term, it's visual, okay, will reduce your taxable income. All right, the limits are on the screen, 25% of AGI up to 40,500 for 22. Okay. So if you make 100K, pop 25K in the bucket, reporting 75 to Uncle Sam. Everybody follow that math? So very simple. Okay, now this is where it gets sexy. Let's get to the employee side, the tax-free side. That is also no income restriction limits for a 401k Roth. Okay. Now, if you are paying yourself 20,500 or 27K if you're over 50, you can put all of that into that Roth bucket. Like, let that sink in, because there's Roth IRAs, which are personal accounts, guys. Heartbeat, earned income, social security number. Congratulations. You can have a Roth IRA, you know, but that's 6 to 7K a year. All right. That's all that we can put into that. You know, so this is that's the personal side. This is the business side. So I just gave you a way to put away $60,000 to $67,000 a year. That's huge. All right. Now, if you are rolling over from an old 401k or 403b or TSP and it's tax deferred, the tax deferred side goes to the tax deferred side. The tax free side goes to the tax free side. Okay. So it goes from like to like. So this is where I want you to take a screenshot with your phone. So I'm going to give you the highlight reel here, the summary of benefits. So this is why this is a triple threat. Not only does it have larger contribution limits, it has tax diversification in one plan. So you get the best of both worlds. Who doesn't like to have their cake and eat it too, right? This gives you diversification in one plan. I'm a huge fan of the KISS method. Can anybody tell me what the KISS method is? I'm waiting. I know I got teachers on here. Somebody's got to
keep it simple.
Stupid.
Stupid. I say sweetheart, but keep it simple, sweetheart. But yes, that's exactly it. You know, keep it simple. Now, this third bullet point, I really want to highlight. How many of you need some additional cash flow to do a deal now? That would be great, right? Who doesn't want more capital? Everybody wants more capital. So you can take a restriction-free loan against your 401k, a 50% or 50,000, whichever's first, okay? And pay yourself back with interest over 5 years. It's prime +2 on our platform. Yeah, so literally, when you are doing real estate investing, you make a list from cheapest capital to most expensive. You're paying yourself back. It's like forced savings. And then whatever you earn with this loan over here, guess where that cash flow goes? Right in your pocket. Okay, that's the instant gratification tool, guys. Now, if you love leveraging, give me a heart in the chat, because I think I'm in good company here. We love leveraging. Yes, that is how we get to our cash flow goals sooner, right? So you can leverage retirement accounts, you guys. A retirement account can actually take on a loan. Has to be non-recourse. It's an IRS rule. That just means it's asset-based. No Fannie Freddie products, no PGs, no personal guarantees because you're using hard money. Okay. So when you have a 401k, 401k puts the down payment, 401k takes on the loan. Are you following me? Okay. Property, you close on the property manager gets that sucker cash flowing with a great tenant, over market rents, fantastic. Where's that rent going? Right back in the retirement account. And that 401k is paying off that loan month after month. Okay. So if you have 100K, do you go buy one property free and clear or two leveraged? Two, right? You know, safety in numbers. And there's no UBIT tax when you do it in a 401k. That's unrelated business income tax. Everyone here knows what capital gains tax is, right? It's like, ugh, woof, 20%, ugh. UBIT is like 37 to 39%, you guys. It's like worse. So that's why when you leverage, I want to see you doing it in the 401k. All right, let's get on to some more fun stuff. Let's talk deals. This is just for those of you that are visual learners. This would be an example of like a husband and wife team. And what they did is they did the deal structure of, if you ever heard of like a checkbook LLC or a checkbook IRA, all that is an LLC, guys, that's either owned by one or more accounts that has a checking account attached to it. So that's an example of one of what that would look like. Okay. Who has ever heard the saying, size does matter? Right? Because we all know that's true in tax sheltered accounts. But okay. So absolutely size does matter, because what are we talking about? Not get our minds out of the gutters. We are talking OPM. What is OPM? Other people's
Money.
money. Yes. Do you know what we say in IRA world? OPI. What does OPI stand for? And we are not at the nail salon. Other people's IRAs.
IRAs. Love it.
Okay. And the reason I'm stressing this, and we were talking about this a little bit in our room, is the money is all around you. Like there's so much money out there in retirement accounts, like literally over $32 trillion out there. Okay. So it's a matter of, and I know Heidi, you were asking this question of how do you bring this to others' attention, that like there is a better way than the stock market. Because right now, I mean, it's going down, 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 you know, insert music here. Like it is. And you have to make a move or you're just going to go down with the ship. You know, you have to be proactive and do something. And what is that? It's education. It's knowing what's out there, you know? So like you were saying, how do you bring that up? Especially I find in academia, family, friends, and like your close network, having that third party, like social proof it for you is like, oh, this is a thing. Like that's a real financial institution that did this. I thought that was illegal. You can't do that in IRA. I mean, I still hear that today. The number one feedback I get is why didn't I know about this like 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I mean, this has been around since the 70s. You know, so when you are looking for capital, ask the question. And this is a great money question. I'm going to give you like an easy plug and play for even like social media. Okay. Are you satisfied with what your retirement account is earning for you? Ask yourself, do you think anybody is going to reply, oh, I'm 100% satisfied? No, no one's ever happy. We always want more. We always want better. That's how we are conditioned in society today. It's the same thing when you're networking. You know, it's, you know, hey, well, what do you do? You know, oh, I earn double-digit returns for investors in their retirement accounts, you know, doing real estate right here in our town. Do you know anybody that would be interested in earning double-digit returns? And be quiet because they're going to give you a referral, say, I would be interested, or they're going to look at you sideways, they have no clue what you're talking about. You know, like those are the worst that's going to happen. And if they say, I'd be interested in that, you don't talk about anything I'm talking about here. All you talk about is your business, your wins, your success, and why you are that person to take them on that journey and get them those returns. When it comes, oh, but you mentioned, you know, retirement accounts, Mariel, you know, yeah, I did. You know what? When I work with somebody, I share all my resources. I'm going to introduce you to our rock star that gets this money open and moved in 2 weeks or less. You'll love it. And it's such a simple process. Like they do all the heavy lifting. I'll send you your info when we're done, you know, but what I was telling you about and, you know, just pivot the conversation back, you know, it's that simple. And I find just from years of, you know, being in, you know, sales, just networking, people skills, the turnkey world, you know, majority of folks will not bring this up, and real estate agents too. You know, adding this to your qualifying funnel, especially if you work with retail and investors, how are you purchasing your property? Are you using cash, conventional, or self-directed funds? That right there can get you a funnel of cash buyers. Who doesn't love a cash buyer, right? You know, so just I'm trying to like give you some ideas of how you can gently plug and play this. And when you have someone that is like, oh my gosh, they have like 300K, they're going to lend me for this next deal. And you get all excited and you're going to be like, you know, Jerry, I don't know what to do. You know, just, hey, Amanda, that you make an introduction. That's all. You're welcome to be on that phone call with me. But that is the one thing I want to stress in one of our teams and myself, ninja skills, is making sure that person is calm, cool, confident on moving forward with that logical next step, which is self-directing their funds and investing with you. Like that is the best thing and result that they can have. So I'm going to show you the technical piece, like how does this work? Because those that have not used self-directed accounts, I get this all the time, like it has to be tough, right? Or everybody would do it. It's just no one actually shows you the steps. And your businesses, is everything not a process and procedure checklist? That's what makes every business work from the beginning of time. It's what makes it work smoothly. What do you think does over here? It's a process and procedure checklist. You know, it's not complicated. So here's an example, guys. So here's a note in your self-directed account. Okay. It has to be titled, the note in the mortgage, or if you're doing a private placement, in the name of the self-directed account. So specialized trust company custodian, FBO, Heidi Rios, IRA, for example. Okay. All right. So now we send it to the title company, it goes to closing, etc. And now they go and do their flip or whatever they're doing. Okay. That lender. If your mortgage is recorded in the name of your retirement account. So that is your security. You're the bank, guys, in this scenario. What happens, and this would be for either yourselves, if you're private lending or you're working with a private lender, what does a bank do if a borrower doesn't pay? They take the house, right? So worst case scenario, doomsday has happened. Worst case scenario, they're going to end up with a house in their retirement account. Boo-hoo. You know, that's not a bad position to be in. Okay. So once the asset is sold or refinanced, they're going to pay back that principal, the interest, any points, fees that you decided to have on there. However you structured your deal is fine. Every state, girls, has a different usury laws. So you just want to make sure you're compliant with your state. So always have an attorney in the state you're lending in, draft your note and mortgage. Okay. That is not something we can do. They're going to send that money right back to the tax sheltered account. So you just made tax-free profits. So let's do an example. You lend money out at 10% and you turn that money for that investor 3 times in a year. That's a 30% annualized return, is it not? That's not too bad. I mean, is that realistic? Sure it is. And are we talking pie in the sky numbers? No, not at all. It's just making the awareness that this is possible. Do I have anybody on here that's wholesaling? No, I'm looking in the chat and I know I have some questions in here I'll touch on here in a second. Oh, thank you, Heidi. Okay. So if anyone else works for the government, I just found out that the Roth TSP doesn't have an income restriction. So Molly added this in the chat, so I'm going to share it with the team. Oh, we have a new Roth IRA owner that's talking on here, I hear. But any employer contributions go into the regular part. So Molly, that solo K buckets, that's the same thing for your TSP. You can elect every year to have your contributions go into that Roth bucket. The TSP was actually one of the first ones to, when they changed it, to offer it, which is awesome. So when you are no longer active, you can roll that over into the TSP, not the TSP, but the solo K, and the Roth goes to the Roth, and the tax deferred goes to the tax deferred. Pretty cool stuff. And thank you for your service, by the way. All right, awesome. Okay, so wholesale example. Is anybody wholesaling? I didn't see anybody put anything in the chat.
I
Mariel?
don't think we have any wholesalers on right now, but that's not to say that it isn't still useful to maybe have like a quick high level overview of
Sure.
opportunities with wholesaling. But
Yeah.
we have a lot of buy and hold investors and flippers, multifamily investors.
Yep. I've just done a couple of very big multifamily events recently, and it's exciting times. So this is the same steps, guys. Like literally, my point is, if you're looking at this process and procedure, it's the same thing that you do for a note or a wholesale already. The only thing that's switching is the name on the contract. That's it. So you open the account, fund the account, you may have the assignable contracts, you send it to an end buyer where you have your spread, which is called your assignment fee. And when the title company closes, in this case, the assignment fee in this example is $25K, and you did it from a Roth IRA. So that $25K is going back how? Tax free, right? I mean, that's huge. Like I have a client right now I'm working with from another educational group. I'm showing her 19 and 21-year-old son this, and they are just like, I mean, these kids are going to be on fire by the time they're 22. That's insane. Okay, so rental properties. I'm a huge buy and hold fan personally. Like it's definitely a marathon and not a sprint. We all know these analogies. So single family, multifamily, all of this is the same. So you open an account and fund an account. And I want you to think of like, just when you set up your LLCs, it's a separate operating account, right? You started operating out of your LLC instead of your personal name, you put the name of your LLC, right? It's the same thing here. Instead of your LLC, you put the name of your retirement account, specialized trust company custodian, FBO, you know, Susanna, and your last name's too long. Susanna's IRA. I had to squint there. Sorry, I'm getting too close to the camera. But here, so you open, fund the account, contract and closing. You have a Rockstar property management team. You can do this with short-term rentals too, Lupe. And all of the rents go right back to the fund, completely tax sheltered. Okay. 3 ways to purchase, because we're all about creative deal structure, right? Outright, you can partner, and you can leverage. So when I'm saying like separate operating account, like once you set up these buckets, I want you to think of it this way: is once you have these vehicles set up, go to get deals under contract just like you normally would. You all have deal machines working that way already. So what I want you to do is when that comes on your desk, just decide, where do you want the cash flow? That's gonna be my first question to you, because I'll explain all the nitty gritty and you're gonna forget everything I said, because you're gonna be all excited. Oh, deal, Amanda, now what do I do? And that's cool. Like we have a whole team in Albuquerque, and they have some of them up here on your screen that are there to help you go through the step 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can absolutely say, you don't have to appease the IRA gal here. You can say, Amanda, I want the cash flow in my pocket today. All right, great. We're going to be looking at your LLC or maybe the 401k loan. You can say, hey, I want to have my cake and eat it too. I want some of this cash flow in my pocket, that's some of it in the retirement account. You can partner via undivided interest, or you can leverage it. Hey, I want it all in the retirement account. Great. We doing it outright, or are you using leveraging? You know, it all comes back to deal structure. It's the same way you run your deal analyzers now. Okay, so intro time. I want to share with you a couple members of our team, because it's only fair, because I'm not a one-man band. I'm not all of Specialized, although I'm a big mouthpiece. I joke, I kid. But these are our team members. So in the middle here, you have Edwin Kelly, is the founder, co-founder of Specialized Trust, and Keith Marsh. Edwin was my first mentor in the self-directed industry, and Keith and I go back to like St. Peter's days, if you can believe that. But we all have experience in very big corporate self-directed institutions. So we have learned what not to do. And we have also learned how to be by investors for investors from a company structure operational standpoint. But at the core of it, we're all investors. Like why we do what we do is the same reason why I'm pretty sure a lot of you on here do what you do. You do it for your family, right? You go for your kids or your husband, or, that quality of life that you desire. That's the driving force, right? It's not just to come in, check the box, repeat. So I love sharing that because I want you to know like where we come from mindset wise and how we do the same darn thing for our kids on here that we show you how to do. Like those, I'll always point out this one because I am that mom that makes my family get in the matching flannel PJs, and my husband, like, God bless his heart, still goes along with it. He's like counting down the years. So this is like over. I'm like, oh no, we're doing this like a long time. And then we're going to do like the side by sides, the now and then. So he's like, no, don't make me. But if you look at some of these pictures, is that a professional picture, you think?
I thought so.
Yeah, it is. Do you think I paid for it out of my pocket?
Did you pay for it out of your IRA?
No, but I did through my company. And I use it in marketing that's recorded and documented for a reason. I'll get to here in a second because those little kiddos in there have got some side hustle. All the kiddos that you see on here have side hustle going on. Why? I'll tell you in a second. We'll get to those kid Roths because that's a big, big one. But it's going back to, has anybody ever read like Simon Sinek Start With Why? I'm a huge nerd. If you didn't see this, you would see like all the pictures of my kids and tons of books back here, and lanyards from all the events. But the point here is everyone deserves to live a life that they love. Agreed? Everyone agrees with the statement, money does not buy you happiness, correct? God intended us to live a full life and to give back to one another. Like that is why we are put here on this earth. In my opinion, and I get goosebumps when I talk about this, this is just a core belief. Financial freedom will not buy you happiness, but it will make things that much easier for you, and it allows you to give back. And the reason why you don't hear this from your advisors, et cetera, is because there's no skin in the game for them. There's no profit. There's no with them, right? So that is why we do what we do, and we do it organically. We do it every relationship, event, every family, business, individual that we work with. I will say over 97% of our clients are all referrals. And that tells you something because you're building your business that way. So we can have that entrepreneurial section. That's why I share the why with you guys. Okay, I will get off of that soapbox because I'll get teary-eyed. Okay, so when I'm talking about the kids and the Roths, all right, this is like a money pot right here. Okay. You've heard the term like generational wealth before, right? It's almost like a buzzword anymore. Generational wealth, legacy planning, right? And it's just like, it gets stale. That's the run to the back of the room. We'll give you the secret sauce if you stroke this big of a check, and it's like, no, man, that's not how it works. Like for kids to have a Roth, they need earned income. They need that heartbeat and the social security number. That's why I'm showing you pictures of the kiddos. And they can do other stuff too, stuff envelopes, clean, etc. I mean, you can legally pay your kids. It's like just over $12,000 a year. And if you're paying them, are you reducing your tax bracket? I'm not a CPA, but you are. Okay. So if you can only put 6K in an account, how can you go buy a property? It's deal structure, right? The solution to everything is deal structure. So here's an example of deal structure because I can't advise, but this would be the example of like an LLC where all of the family members our portion, but it's their retirement accounts. So when you look at this operating agreement, ladies, it's going to read specialized trust company custodian, FBO, mama's 401k, daddy's 401k, Roth IRA, etc. Okay, percentage by how much money you're putting in there. And then when you go do a property, a note, a short-term rental, etc., all of the profits are going to that LLC, and everyone in the mix is having tax-free profits as a benefit. Does that make sense? Like, that's powerful stuff. And all I'm showing you is deal structure. That's it. That's just like,
we have a question. How old do they need to be your employees?
there's no age.
Really?
Yeah, there's no age limit. Like the newborn baby pictures, I know we have, as soon as those babies get social security numbers, they're getting Roth for kids. I mean, I can tell you that, because you need that social security number, and it's not like, they come out of the hospital like, oh, we're ready to go. It takes a couple months. As soon as they have that social security number. I had that question at the last event, this gal, and she's as cute as a button too. She's just like, so when, and I know she's pregnant, when can our kids have that Roth that you're talking about? Like, you gotta wait like next year for you.
They have to be like technically, like they're technically employees of the company to receive a Roth IRA.
So they have to have earned income. So earned income can be via W-2 or 1099.
Okay.
So that's the checkbox. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be straight W-2. A lot will just, that I've seen anyway, they 1099. Your CPA will advise you what makes the most sense for your company structure and how many kids did you have. Like, this is an example of, like, we've mapped this out for a family. All these kids are under the age of 10, by the way. Like, if you've ever played with amortization, what am I talking about? Compound interest calculator. It's huge. So for this couple, like, if you look at this blue box over here, this 8606, when you make over X amount, and I have to look at what the limit is, you actually phase out of taking a deduction for your traditional IRAs, which I find a lot of CPAs don't tell you, or they just tell you, oh, you make too much for a Roth IRA. And that's baloney since 2010. So all you do is you put the money in the Roth, or the traditional. This is called the backdoor Roth, by the way, if you've ever heard that. I don't like that term, but they put it in the traditional, and then we just convert it over to the Roth. But if you're not taking the deduction for the traditional, when you switch tax environments, who do you think you have to pay? Uncle Scam, right? So you're kind of getting double tax there. That's not fair. So you want to make sure, if you're not getting that deduction, your CPA's got you on that 8606 form, so that you're not getting hit twice. But these are the kind of little nuggets that you just don't hear from other custodians. Like, they don't pull all of the pieces of the puzzle together. Like, yes, that's tax information, but yeah, you need to explain that. That needs to be known. Yeah, we're not CPAs. So who's sick of Uncle Scam taking money out of your pocket? Me too. So who would want a step-by-step action plan? Okay, for your personal, your business, etc. So this is, we already said, money is not the most important commodity, it's time. So that is going to be my gift for all of you on here today, is I'm going to offer a free half-hour consultation to go over your scenario, where you're at in your journey, whether you're on chapter 2 or chapter 12. It's never a matter of if, it's just when this makes sense. That is all. So that's all. That is just an informational session to go really deep dive into your personal scenario and what makes sense for you investment wise, saving less in taxes, business structure, personal, family, etc. Okay, let me try my multitasking skills here. Okay, so in the chat, and is the QR code working? Because I'm not that tech savvy person, and I always ask, because I swear it changes from time to time, and I don't know how. Okay.
It is working. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So in the chat, I put the same thing with the link. All my contact info is in there. But I also have our field guide to financial freedom, which is a great ebook. So if this is something like having that conversation with your spouse, it always helps having a visual, like, third-party aid. It's also a great, like, lead magnet if you are raising private capital too. So I have more resources than that I could throw at you. I won't do on here. We'll do it when we chat. Okay. So some of the technical questions I always get, and then I want to open up the floor, is, what's the process? Like, how long does this stuff take? Like, this seems like it would be complicated. It's simple, so simple. Like, everyone here is in real estate, right? So we all love DocuSign, or you use like Dotloop or something of that nature, correct? We all love electronic. That's exactly what we do. I do all the heavy lifting. I pre-fill out the paperwork, because you would never send a contract to a buyer or seller and say, hey, fill this out and get it back to me, right? You pre-fill it out. So you decide, you deposit, you direct. So it's literally application. Only thing I will bug you for is a statement and an ID. Then our team goes to work, and then 2 weeks or less, the funds are here. You're ready to do a deal. Like, that is your timeline. It's that simple. It's the same thing for folks that are looking to do private money with you. It's the same way. Another piece I want to touch on is, how long does it take to do a deal? I get this question a lot. So when it comes time to do a deal, when you email like that note mortgage, and it's an internal form called a direction to invest, this is basically how you boss us around and say, you specialize. I want to lend to Joe Smith $50,000 on 123 Main Street. Okay, great. You email that to us. We review it and process it within 48 hours. And then make sure the titling is correct. That's the main thing we're looking for. And we're going to do a verbal verification of wire over the phone. I know our phones do like these, don't answer, it's spam. If you see a 505 number, answer it. That's the number one thing that delays closings, I swear to goodness, because it's a security measure. Like, wire fraud's a thing. Like, we have to do that security measure. And that's it. It's done. You log in your account the next day, and instead of seeing all these pretty graphs and charts that no one can read anyway, you're going to see, hey, I have a house, or I have a note, and it reads almost like a checking account ledger. So it's very clean and simplistic, So again, I subscribe to the KISS method. Our whole company does. So it's your money, it's your future. Always do it your way. That is it. So let's open up for Q&A.